Hello, this is Thomas O'Connell at Mid-Hudson Library System, and this video is going to be about the Sierra offline circulation client. This video will be talking particularly about using the offline client to perform the circulation transactions. So if you are looking for instructions as to how to download the offline client, there are instructions here from the Sierra knowledge base. Download and install Sierra Offline. There are also instructions, Sierra Offline procedures, which will walk you through how to do the circulation transactions. But I just wanted to do a video to kind of walk you through those procedures as well. And so that's what we'll be talking about today. The offline client is just a way for Circ staff to continue with transactions even when you've lost connection to your network. If you lose network connection, but you still have patrons in the library who want to check out materials, the Sierra Offline Circulation Client provides an opportunity for you to do that. And so today I will be talking about how we go through these circulation transactions and to upload them so they can get loaded into Sierra when you're back online. So this is the Sierra Offline Circulation Client, and it defaults to checkout. So by opening this up from the icon, it will open up into the Sierra Offline Circulation Client. Defaults to checkout. There are some other options as well. So there's checkout and renew. Renew, in effect, is, well, it's really just another form of checkout. Some libraries don't use the renew, and I would kind of encourage you to not as well, because with renew you can run into some glitches when it comes to items that have holds placed against them. So we know that if an item has a hold placed against it, then we're not allowed to renew it. If you're doing renewals within the offline client, and then when you go to upload them, we discover that one of those items actually has holds placed against it, then you're going to run into a block and some hassles. So I think that's probably a pretty good standard to go by, and would discourage you from using the renewals. Check-in as well is something that we don't do with the offline client. It's because if we check something in here and then that item gets checked out again when we get back online, but before you've uploaded these transactions, then by uploading these transactions, you could end up actually checking in an item that was then just checked out again. You probably get the idea that it gets confusing for Sierra as well, and hard to keep track of. So we discourage you from, we say don't use the check-in as well. You see there's also patron registration, which frankly we're looking into the possibility of allowing offline patron registration, and so there may be another video coming in the near future about that. For the time being, we are really just using the offline circulation client for the checkouts. Boy, certainly better than the old legal pad and pen method that I know some libraries will be using. This with the offline client, you're scanning in barcodes instead of having to write them down, or even keeping them in a spreadsheet or so. So I find it definitely more intuitive and a little closer to what we're used to when we're doing circulation transactions for Sierra. So we'll walk through this. Before you get started with the offline transactions, what will need to have happened, and probably should have, and so you wouldn't need to worry about it, but I'm just going to point it out, is that the preferences need to have been set up. So a statistics group, which is the 3-digit number for your library, the terminal number, which begins with a 7. the date format should be set, the barcode validity should be set, and perhaps the due slips are ready to go as well. As I said, when you find yourself without a connection to Sierra and you need to start checking out using the offline client, this should already be done, so you shouldn't have to worry about this. So you can skip having to configure that and move right into doing some checkouts. So, all right, so it defaults to the patron barcode. So the first thing it wants to know is who the patron is. You see there's a B here, which in effect just represents, just stands for barcode. You're going to be putting in a barcode there. We sometimes think of that when we see a B in front of a number as the bib number that we see in the catalog, but that's actually not what it stands for here, just for barcode. So I'm going to enter a patron barcode. Just give me a moment. 223801200092525. I don't have a scanner, so I'm going to have to type it in myself. You would just have to scan the barcode in as you always do, and it would enter it as it would. If the patron barcode was not a valid barcode, you saw in the preferences one of the options was barcode validity, and that's going to be checking things like is it the correct number of characters? Does a patron barcode begin with 2? Does an item barcode begin with 3? It's not going to be checking actually for the patron's record. So it will not inform you of things like that the patron's blocked because they owe too much money, or if a patron has a hold to pick up, or if there's another message like, the patron left their coat in library, check the lost and found. It won't check any of that because in order to check all those things against the patron record, it needs to be able to connect to the Sierra server to check the patron record. And the whole reason that we're using the offline client is because we can't get to the Sierra server at that time. So it won't inform you of things like that, but it will let you know that the barcode doesn't have enough digits, or patron barcode needs to begin with a 2, something along those lines. All right, so if it enters the patron barcode correctly, as it has here, next step is to enter in the due date. So, if I want to say, August 10th or something, it's going to let me know that that's not the correct format for the due date. It is looking for a particular format for us to enter to the due dates, month, day, year, with dashes in between. So that's the format I'm going to need to put this in as. So, oops. Okay, so I will put it in like that and enter it. Hourly, it's going to be asking us if it's going to be an hourly loan. It's probably not. For the most part, this is used by academic libraries for doing things like reserves, though we do have libraries, yours may be one, that does do hourly loans for checking out laptops or materials in some way. So it is possible. Probably you're not doing an hourly loan. Just put in a Y or an N accordingly. And enter, and then we put in the item barcode. So then the material that the patron wants to check out. And we just scan that in, and then just wanted to show you that how the validity works again. So barcode has an invalid check digit, which is the digit at the end. It has to follow in a certain format. All of our valid real barcodes do, and so it shouldn't have to worry about that, which again is another way that this is kind of nice, as opposed to the legal pad and pen version. It wouldn't know that, but at least keep track of it here using the system as it is. So let's try that again. Oop. And let's try putting in one that has a item barcode. 49772 and enter, and there it goes. And so it will be entered down below. And I'll keep a running list of everything that I've checked out during this session. So it'll give me the patron barcode and the item barcode and the due date and the date that it occurred on. So if the patron has multiple items, I can just keep entering in item barcodes here. If the patron has different types of materials, different item records that would have different due dates, you probably want to separate those before you start checking them out. So put the books in one pile, maybe the DVDs in another pile, any other item types that are going to have different due dates. Keep them separate and do them together, because as you saw, we have to enter in the due date. Now, if I go to check in another item, it's going to have retained the due date that I put in, and that it's not an hourly loan, and it'll check out any items that I check out from here on until I tell it otherwise, and use those parameters. Now, so let's say I had checked out all the patrons' books, and now they want to check out a DVD. All I would need to do is go into New Due Date and enter in and we'll just transpose those, and enter that accordingly, put in the new due date that I want to use. Again, it's going to retain the hourly section, and then I would just need to put in the barcode for the DVD, and then it's going to check it out using the new due date. So it'll keep track of things like that for us. So you don't have to check out everything to the same due date. You can have some variety there. The only thing is that you will need to be changing it accordingly here. When I'm done with the patron transactions, I'm just going to click on New Patron, which in effect closes out that record, and now it's looking for now it's ready to take a new patron barcode. If I am using the due slips, at that point it will check out, it'll generate a due slip. You can have the library's name, like if you need to renew call. The lines to eject is the number of lines after the text that it will eject, just to give it feed a little extra paper so you're not cutting off some valuable text that you would want to provide to the patrons. So then, having clicked on New Patron, I'm ready to go with another patron. Another patron walks up to the circ desk, and we're ready to go to check out some other items. Once we are ready to get back online, and I have all of my transactions recorded here, the next thing I would need to do is to upload these records. And so this is the first step into getting them to Sierra so we can actually get them loaded into the Sierra database. So if we are back online and connected to Sierra, for each terminal where I was performing transactions, I will need to go in and do this process. Pretty simple. You just go to File, and you go to Upload the Circulation and Patron Data. Okay, so it's going to walk you through it. Is the server ready to receive the data? If so, choose Yes and upload the data. Yes, it is. It'll confirm that one circulation transactions well, it's grammatically incorrect, but I think you get the message, you get the idea. One circulation transaction has been sent. Wonderful. Do you want to clear the circulation file? Yes, you do. You do want to clear the circulation file. Basically, it will keep the circulation file, and each time you use the offline client, it will upload whatever is there. So if you don't clear it, then each time you use the client again, it would keep uploading the transactions you've just done, all the old ones that go along that were never cleared. So yes, you do want to clear this out so that every time we upload, we're uploading just the transactions that were done during the time that we are that we want to include. Clear circulation file? Yes, indeed. The circulation file was cleared. Great, that's good. You can say OK to that, and we're all done using the offline circulation client. They aren't uploaded. Well, they're uploaded, but they're not processed yet. I'm going to minimize that and just go into, not that one. I'm actually going to go into Sierra. And so we will see. So in the past with the offline client, the process was that to upload and send your files to tech support at midhudson.org. org. The uploading, as you saw, you can do yourself, and we encourage you and expect you to do yourself. But it's also possible for you to do the processing of the records, which is really the processing them in Sierra. So it's when they're actually checked out in the Sierra database. So in the past, you didn't have this permission. It is possible, if you would like, to yourself or to somebody who works in the library, some staff, just contact us here at Mid-Hudson and we can grant that permission to them. I have it, so I'll just show you how it's done. In the functions, we have offline file processing. It'll take us to here, where we see that my file is ready, the one I did today, for processing. Assess fines, we're not doing check-in, so we don't have to worry about that. Process holds, we're not doing renewals, so we don't have to worry about that. Really, all I really need to do is process all the files that are here, mine. Do that. Done processing files. There are messages to display. Select the log file you would like to view from your drop-down. So I'm going to go, okay, so they've been processed. I just need to see if there are any error messages. This is the one that was mine. If you recall, in the preferences, I had it listed as just a 7 because I was showing you that it begins with a 7, but that's how I'll recognize. I'm going to exit that. My file here, I can view that. No error messages, perfect, that's what I want to see. Basically, if you process these, then you would go in and look to see for your terminal number. Oh yeah, we're 726, that's us. And you would see those, these have been done previously, and then you would look at the error messages to see if there were any error messages here. Sometimes there are error messages that need to be addressed. I saw one recently. Let me see if I can find that. There we go. Such as this, that there had been an invalid checkout time, that when the person was using the offline client, they had put in, let's see, maybe that's not the one I was looking for. Here's the one I was looking for. Okay. As well, they put in an invalid time. The checkout time that they were using was actually before the date that they were checking them out using the offline client. So it was checked out using the offline client on July 26th, and they had put in the due date would be July 16th. They had meant August 16th, just put in the wrong date. So this one transaction had not been processed. Simple enough, just by having this error file, they were able to go in and find the patron record and find the item record and then check it out using the correct date. So so that's just how we need to look at the error files just to make sure there isn't anything that we need to be addressing. Most of the time, what you will be seeing is that there are no error files to report. So that is how you process it. Now these records would actually be checked out, that that item would be checked out to that patron. So that's the full process of the full cycle of using the offline client. I'll be doing another video, again, just covering the uploading and the processing. So if you need to refresh that, look for that one in the future. I will be also, the loading of the offline client is up and ready. So if you have not downloaded, installed, and configured the offline client, please go and find that. If you have any questions, feel free to send them in to techsupport@midhudson.org, and we'll be happy to walk you through any of this process that you may need. Thank you.